Well, I want to greet everyone, and I have a very special announcement, something I think that many of you would be interested in. As most of you know, if you are familiar with our ministry, for about 7 years, and it actually took that long, I began to work on a commentary for the Bible. It was so large that we could not put that commentary in a regular King James Bible, but we had to divide it up into the New Testament and the Old Testament. So we decided to print first the New Testament. Now, just a few weeks ago, we did a special offer for the New Testament, and so many of you were excited about that because it was discounted. And the reason that we're able to do this now is because it took me a lot of sales to pay for the Bible itself. The project was somewhere, if I count every aspect of cost, was well over $2 million, just the project. So you have to first pay for the project before the ministry even gets anything to help continue the ministry. Well, there were many of you that began to ask me, would you do something with your Old Testament? We want it so bad. Would you be willing to discount that? I went to the warehouse, and we have a total of the Old Testament, and this is it. This is the Old Testament commentary, and it matches the New Testament. And you know, you've got the commentary in the bottom, and then you've got the nugget boxes again. There's the nugget box here. You got in-depth in the back. And really, we call this a Hebraic prophetic because everything in it is Hebraic, Hebrew word studies, or it's prophetic. That's the theme, plus just some regular commentary on history, things of that nature. I did have many people tell me that when they got to the book of Genesis, they couldn't get out of it for a month. They literally studied and looked and studied and went back and studied just the book of Genesis. We talk about Melchizedek was actually Shem, the son of Noah. We talk about how we can prove that. We talked about the mystery of giants, how giants came from fallen angels that went into the daughters of men. That's really what the Bible teaches, but we give you the historical quotes on that. I have a section, this is just Genesis, that deals with the location of the Garden of Eden originally being the area in Israel of Jerusalem. And that perhaps was one of my favorite teachings of all time. We started studying this with Dr. Peter Micus, Robert Vandermotten, back in 1991, met with rabbis and discussed with them their opinion, and they were in total agreement that that was true. That's just Genesis. And then you got the commentary of the prophet Daniel, the prophet Zechariah, the prophet Isaiah, Ezekiel, and the War of Gog and Magog. This is printed with the best paper, 3 types of paper, the best. All of these are hand-stitched, best cover we could purchase, made in America. And it cost me a lot. If I'd have had this sent to China, trust me, I could have saved a lot of money, but it would have probably fallen apart in about a week. So I said, let's pay, for people to have jobs in America. We've been sitting here with our team discussing, because this was normally priced at $160 plus shipping, and you have to pay shipping because it's very expensive. This weighs several pounds. Somebody told me, I've never weighed it. You can weigh it if you want to, but they said it's like 5 pounds, and I said, well, you could use that for a weight if you want to. You could paperweight for whatever. But this is my blood, sweat, and tears in one book. For 14 and 15 hours a day, I would see a laptop coming, or I could close my eyes and see the keyboard. I couldn't even sleep because I'm seeing this, and I realized, man, I didn't give my eyes a rest. I literally at times went 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, and one thing I did was go to the bathroom. There were times when I didn't even eat lunch. I had forgot to eat, and I do that all the time anyway. But so what we're going to do, we're going to put up a countdown clock just like we did with the New Testament, because I can't offer them all at this price. It has to be a limited time. It has to be a limited number, because the others I have to save, because when we're out of these, I do not want to reprint them. The people that get them have them. Now, Pam told me, she says, don't say that. And I said, no, that's just what I'm saying, that I don't want to. I don't know what we'll do, but I don't want to have to do that because it's a huge project. So instead of $160, you can get the New Testament commentary for $115. It's worth it. It's 30-some years of just Bible study, personal notes, And we've got notes in here on the history of Petra and how the Jews are going to hide there. I'm just trying to go off the top of my head. How the Dead Sea can be this. They'll have a whole section on the Dead Sea being an underground fire chamber according to history. And from the Bible, it can be an entrance to what will one day be the lake of fire. Isaiah talks about they'll look on the carcasses of men that have transgressed against me, for their worms shall not die. And that happens on earth. So there's something underneath the lowest part of the earth, which is the Dead Sea, where Sodom and Gomorrah used to exist. We do a whole teaching on that. So I want to say to you that I hope you can get it. And we'll keep, what we're going to do, we're going to do the countdown clock again, 5,000 copies. We're going to probably run it for 10 days. This gives people time to put something together. And you may want to go in with someone and say, if you'll pay half, I'll pay half. We'll get a Bible, I'll read it, you'll read it and share it. It might be better to do it for it to be a family member than a neighbor, because I've loaned books out and never got them back. And I promise you, once you start reading it, you'll want to keep reading probably the whole thing because of what you will learn. And I tried to put in here things that I knew people hadn't commonly heard. Have a whole lot of quotes about Josephus, you know. Josephus said the snake used to be able to communicate with men, and God took its voice at the fall. And people don't even know that. And that's in Jewish history. And there's so much stuff like that. So many quotes from him about different things. So it keeps you from having to dig it up and research it. We're going to do, again, 5,000. When we run out, the offer quits and we have to go back to the normal price. Or if the countdown clock goes down to 0, then there's no more after that. So you might want to watch that little countdown and make sure that it's still available, and get yours as soon as you can. I want to say to you that what we're using all this finance for is I've cleared my schedule throughout most of the year. The only thing planned is for me would be late October, the prophetic summit that we're trying to plan. And we don't know where this is going. We don't know if coronavirus appears, and we don't know that they're going to let churches come back, and we don't know anything as I'm sitting here. So, you know, because we're not able to travel, we're not able to receive offerings on the road, we're not able to offer product on the road, I've just decided to make offers to, you know, to bless you, but also help all the outreaches and all the ministry that VOE is involved with. You know, we feed a lot of people in the mountains that depend on food. And without our check, I've had 2 ministries say, without your check, a lot of people wouldn't have anything to eat, Perry. So we give God the glory, but it's because of people like you, it's because of partners of the ministry that we're able to do those things. So a great heartfelt thank you for allowing us to minister to you. And thank you so much for all the support, all the prayers during this time. And by the way, you need to know that when I pray, and I know Pam, that we do always mention all of you. And I'm not always calling names, but I'm saying, God, all of my partners, all my monthly message, or all my OCI family, I'll always pray that. Not that my prayers are special, but I want you to know that we think of you, and we pray for you, and we know from the response we've heard, you know, from all of the people that have, especially Facebook, that you talk about praying for your pastors and churches. Keep doing that. Okay, so I've left it in your hands. It starts, I guess, when they put this up. You'll see the clock, you'll see the countdown, and it's just something we want to do. I am also, just so you'll know, after this is completed, I have a warehouse with tens of thousands of products, and I'm going to do my best to give you offers that are so good that we will be able to, you know, if you pay for the cost of the product, and then we make just a little bit above, because that material does me and you no good sitting in a warehouse. We actually had to build a warehouse. We have so much material, and I want to empty it out. I want people that can just to get it and take it home with you and listen to it or pass it on to other people, because you know, God forbid, but if this thing goes into another whatever they call it, what's the word I'm looking for, mutation, and it's already done that in some nations, and we kick in again, you're still going to have social separation, you're still going to have no big gatherings, 10 people only or whatever, and I hope it doesn't do that, but nobody knows. I guess God's the only one that knows. So thank you for your time, and I appreciate you very much, and we love you, and God bless all of you, and may this Hebraic prophetic. It's big, it's huge. That's why we couldn't put them both in one book. May this be a great, great, great blessing to you. One more little thing. The lady that laid out the book of Job said that commentary, and she had done Bibles for years for Thomas Nelson. She said when the scholars read it, that they saw things in it that they had never put together before. And she said, Perry, this is when my secretary Gina was here. She said, Perry, they have said that they've never seen a commentary, because I talk about Job was hit during the festival days, trumpets and Day of Atonement, and I talk about why I believe that. Then I talk about how that his hedge was the blood on the altar, and when Satan took the blood, the hedge came down. He killed all the animals. There was no animals to put on the altar. Anyway, I'm rambling too much, so you can read that as you feel that. God bless you and thank you.